Okay, thank you. Awesome, awesome, guys. So quickly, let's get into things here, guys. This is really exciting stuff. I'm going to go here on my chart. I'm going to go to the weekly here, and I'm going to start with the long-term view picture for Bitcoin specifically. Now, the first thing that we need to understand, guys, is that there is a humongous change in cryptos at this moment. One of the big changes is this, is that Bitcoin is starting to move extremely fast. It's got a lot of momentum under it, and it's very, very strong. Some cryptocurrencies look poor, but don't think that they are very weak. These cryptocurrencies are going to start playing catch up, and I'm going to show you when it's going to happen. I believe right now that we have a speed up, like a contraction of time. Now remember this, in the beginning of the year, I said that I see that we are going to break the all-time high. And remember this, Bitcoin was here at 3,125. I came out and you looked like a mad dog, you know, when somebody said that we're going to break the all-time high, because nobody could have the vision. Nobody saw that. But we saw that we are going to break the all-time high, and I came out and I said that in the latter part of January next year, we are going to break the all-time high. Then a few months ago, yeah, probably in January, March, in March and April, I came out and said that, whoa, wait a second, I don't see we are going to break the all-time high in January next year. I see that we're going to break it in October. And I'm coming out today and saying to you guys that I don't believe we're going to break the all-time high in the end of October. I think it's going to be earlier. Guys, what is happening in the cryptocurrency industry is just remarkable. Things are exploding like crazy. Now, this chart that I have here, I quickly want to show, especially for the new people, I want to show you this. If I go down here from the bottom and I move this upwards, let me just get the right the percentage gain here, the price range. If I go from the bottom here and I go right up to this top here, just right up to that top, let me just get that. That's about a 5,000% gain. Is that 5,000? Something is not right there. But anyway, let me just take that off there. Okay, anyway, the range, let me just try that again. Why is it showing such a humongous rise? It shows a 54,000% rise. That can't be. Anyway, that's really weird. Yeah, now the chart's acting up. We actually did a previous presentation just to Africa, West Africa, and we had this internet that just played up all the time, and now the charts are playing up. Anyway, guys, I've done it actually here that we had about a 12,000% rise from here to there, from leg 2 to 3. If you zoom out, and this is what I want to give you quickly, this zoom out view. If you look at this, you know, you can see that I've got leg 1 going up there, leg 2 down here, leg 3 there, and let me just clear this chart here. That may actually help. There we go. That's a little bit better. I'll quickly redo this. If you go from the bottom here and you say that is leg 1, that is leg 2, leg 3, more or less, leg 4, and we're now in the last leg upwards, which could be a very big leg. Now, and remember guys, this is just with regard to Elliott wave. Elliott is a guy who just came out in the old days before there were computers, and he worked out and said that there are patterns always at play. And these patterns repeat itself like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that those patterns keep repeating themselves. So in the long scheme of things, this will only be leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, more or less. At this high point here, in the next 4 years, we see $3.7 million Bitcoin. $3.7 million. Now let's come down here to this, and forget about the timeline here on the bottom. You know, this is only for visual purposes. I want to give you the long-term view, because when you can see the future, you can kind of like, you know how to trade. It takes the fear away. Now, the all-time high, in our opinion, is going to be broken here at around about $22,000, more or less around about this point there. At that point there, let me just move that to 22,000. Specifically $2,000. I don't know why it's 2,000, but sorry, not 2,000, 22,000. I don't know why it is 22,000, but in our data, it shows that we hit $22,000 here. And let me put that in, just in case I made a verbal mistake here, 22K. And that 22K is going to happen very, very quickly. I reckon that we could hit it in the next 60 days. So now, as of today, we are on 11 July. So you look at 11 August, 11 September. So we look at here between the date of September, and I believe that it will not be in the latter part of October. We will actually hit that a little bit earlier. So this is what we call contraction of time. Expansion of time is something like this. Have a look at this trend from here to there. And if you go on the day range and you look at, okay, how long did it take to go up to that high point there? That was about 751 days. Now let's say if we look at how long did it take to go from there to the next high point, that was about 1,450 days. So if you take it from this point there, you look at about 1,000 days. So 750 days to get up to a high point, from that low point to get to the next high point, 1,000 days. And we reckon that we can actually do this from here, breaking the all-time high, here, around about here in September. And let me just put a date line in there. Let's say around about here before October, just more or less. Let's say around about 30 September. Guys, it looks impossible, but I'm going to show you now what is happening in Bitcoin and cryptos. Let's quickly get into, I'm going to get into this point here, and let's get into Bitcoin here. Now, let me just clear the screen here, just from last week's data. Now, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is right now here at this point. And remember last week, we had this red dotted line or stripe line, the red line. And we kind of said that we do not want Bitcoin to drop below that line yet. It is going to drop below it, but we don't want it yet to happen. We still expect that there is going to be an uptrend into A+. And then we're going to have this drop. It's going to go a bit of sideways movement and then drop. Wherever this red line is, we do believe that it is going to come down to this red line, round about the level, see this level here of 7590, wherever that Python y-axis is. So if I were to go and draw that Python y-axis, I'm going to move this on. And let's say if the Python y-axis does something like this, and I'm just going to make this a different color. Let me just make that purple, maybe that color there. So there we go. And all I'm saying is that there is a probability that we could hit this level here of around about $7,500, $7,600, $8,000 more or less. Now remember this, when we started here back in 15 December, right down here, when the market here moved, we said that the market will move from 3,125 to 3,600. So remember, we were talking about $100 increments, another 100, another 100. And we said that when the market drops, it'll go from 3.6 to 3.5. Now what is happening is that we are now starting to work with larger numbers. This is why we now say that the market is going to go between 15,000 and 17,000. It's a $2,000 spread. When the market goes up further to around about $80,000, and you bet your bottom dollar, it's going to go to 80,000. When we head into that level, I'm going to come again and say to you that the market is going to go between 60,000 and 75,000. It's a wider range because the markets become more volatile. This is exactly what we are seeing here, guys, with Bitcoin. A very volatile movement in price. From that top there, right down to that bottom, I think I measured yesterday was about a 15% drop. Let me just have a look here. Yeah, that was about 16, between 15 and 16%, and at the moment it's standing at about 12%. So it's going to become normal to have these percentage drops, 15, 20, 30%, every single time, up and down, up and down. Now, so don't be discouraged to see a big drop there. You can see the market has dropped right onto that red line that we said is the support line, and we didn't want Bitcoin to drop lower. We do still expect, just so that you understand it correctly, I still expect the market to go upwards here and hit into that level. But let me give you this now quickly. Remember this 53-day cycle that we have been talking about. And for all the new people that are on this call here, have a look at this. The market spiked upwards here at that point there. 53 days later, the market came to a low point, and the next day, what happened? Bang, it spiked upwards again. I'm going to try and make this a little bit larger so that everybody can see this. Okay, so that spike there was a significant spike because it spiked above the 22 MAE and above this blue line that we follow. It touched that, see that red line there, which is a 52 MAE. Don't worry if you don't understand all these lines, but it spiked right into that, came down, and look at this, guys, 53 days later, the market spiked upwards again, 53, bang, 53 days. Let's take the 53-day algorithm cycle onwards again. You can see here exactly on 53 days, we had a significant break again. That spike there was very, very significant. That ultimately took Bitcoin into our target of CC+. Then it dropped into this level here of DD. That means that the cycle was complete. Because your cycle is A, B, C, D cycle. Go back and see the old videos that we've made, even the one of yesterday, where we talk about, and I may just do it now so that people get the picture. If you look at this, guys, this is one cycle. See there? Now, we're going to have multiple of these cycles as we go forward with Bitcoin. There's another cycle up here that also forms another ABCD cycle, but I'm not going to get into that. We can get into that a little bit later. We just won't have enough time here today. Now, this cycle here now is going to start with Bitcoin heading into this box A. You can see that we head into this box here, which is A here. We do expect maybe A plus, where we get into a higher target of 15,000 and 17,000. Once we head into that target, we do expect a drop into this box here. And then we expect Bitcoin to do the following. And I'll just see if I can draw it there for you. So we see a upwards move, a downwards move into this box here, a bit of a sideways action here. It's going to drop somewhere here and drop again before then goes back upwards. Now forget about the time frame on the bottom. Remember this, we can always contract. And as I said in the previous webinar today, we said it could easily look like something like this, you know, where it then comes to that point, then drops here, and then shoots upwards. So, and let me just make that a different color so that we can just, I'll just make that blue. So between your purple and your blue, remember this, between this time frame here, it can get dragged out before the spike happens. And that spike is very important to understand in crypto. So I'm going to show you now, guys, what we do see in the cryptocurrency world. So what I do expect is that Bitcoin could potentially go up here. We hope that it will reach this A plus box. I'm really looking for that $15,000 target there. If we head into 15,000, expect a bit of a drop sideways, and then bang, Bitcoin will go up. Now remember here, at this point, wherever that point is, Bitcoin is going to go up, but cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, are still going to drop a little bit further. And what I've done, and I'll show you shortly now the Wall Street cheat sheet, the way that I see it. Let me quickly get into Litecoin. Last week, we had this line here. See that red line here? That red line that goes diagonal across the screen? You see that bottom red dotted line or stripe line, and you see the top stripe line, the red one. We said last week that we do not want Litecoin to break below this red dotted line. And if it does, we expect it to be stopped by the Python y-axis. And that's exactly what happened there, guys. If I zoom in there now remember, according to me, this is like completely insane that we have broken down here and that we've seen the touch of the Python y-axis. Now remember that that has created the support, and you can see here that Litecoin is actually starting to move back upwards again, hitting this target of $99, the one that we actually predicted to happen a little bit later. It just hit it earlier. Why did it hit it early? Let me tell you why. We only expected this one to come around about here, remember there and there, to hit that target. So why did it actually happen a little bit earlier? My analysis shows that we have got a contraction of time. This means that our target here, let's just quickly go through Litecoin here. Remember I said that we are going to see this play. Don't look at the timeline on the bottom. The timeline is not accurate. It's for visual purposes only. Dates will be explained later. Remember this, guys. This breakout date is actually 18 September. 18 September is here. It's about there. So if I were to make the screen short, remember we're working with things that we do over the internet. I have to show you on a larger scale what I see, and I can't fit all this. I can't fit everything like this into a small time frame of a few weeks on the screen. But if you look at the 18 September line is about, there we go. So in effect, think about this now. That breakout, what I'm saying, it happens there. So you can see that, okay? So I hope you understand that correctly. I've got an email, one or two emails from people who didn't understand the timeline, and they were saying, but does Bitcoin only break out in March of 2020 next year? And I said, no, it actually comes forward, but I can't push all these red lines. I can't push everything into this little small time frame here. If we do, we're going to have to make it very, very small. We can probably do it, but you can see where we got heading into. Then we have to make all these things a lot smaller, something like that, and then it becomes like really messy on the screen. But although we can do it, So as a matter of fact, what I want you to do is to look at the pattern. The pattern will always play out. We are going to see a downtrend, a uptrend, a downtrend, a uptrend. And you can use this wedge here as some form of a play, some form of a pattern. In the last video that I did, I actually showed a heart, like a heartbeat on the top there. And I said, what we are looking for is this heartbeat sign. Where Litecoin, where Litecoin simply drops here and it drops to around about $72, it goes back up to about this level here of $130, and then goes sideways, and then we're going to have that breakout. Guys, this play here in this pink box, that is still a pattern play. We are still looking for that. But remember this, that we could have a contraction of time. This simply means that all these panels, and I think I may just do it now, where all these will actually move forward. Let's do it now and have a look and see what it looks like if everything here comes forward a little bit. Okay, so this means that will actually come forward again. I'm just going to draw one arrow down there. So in effect, what I'm saying is that we still expect a bit of an uptrend into this box here, somewhere into that blue box.
We're going to skip those today?
No, we'll do it in a minute.
So let me just take that arrow out, and remember again, I'm just trying to fit it all now in to a box that is understandable, and we will probably have a bit of a sideways movement there. something like that. We're going to have a drop there. We'll have a spike upwards. We'll have a bit of a drop, sideways movement, and then we have a breakout there. Okay, so maybe that will actually solve a bit of confusion. So let's just take that out. Sorry guys, just bear with me here for a second. And that you have the 1000% start, the start of the 1000%, maybe a little bit earlier here at 18 September. This could potentially bring this down as well. And this could possibly go, I'm just going to redraw this, that actually touches there and there. And then that could actually be a little bit lower, something similar like this. Okay, so I hope you get the picture, and then I'm just going to make it a little bit larger here. So hopefully there's no confusion about that now. So guys, what we do expect is that this Python y-axis is going to hold the support. This is one of the best times to buy Litecoin. Another good time will be here on the bottom, where it's a good time to buy Litecoin. Now, I'm hoping that we will see an uptrend here today, that we will see a bit of a movement either into this level here. And remember what I said about the 53-day algorithm cycle. That algorithm cycle is this date here of 19 July. Could it be that we get to that point there and that we have a bit of a spike upwards into, let me just get this arrow, into this box here. And I'm just going to leave that as a green arrow. Let's just make that nice and wild. Okay, so could it be that we have a green candle spike into this box? It could well be. So the targets here, 164, 179, and 1, let me just put them there, just more or less. Those targets are still standing. And there is a big probability that we could head into this targets. And then we're going to have this drop and a bit of a play here, moving sideways. I want to see this heartbeat. I wonder if there's a way that you can actually put a heart on there. Is there a heart somewhere? There we go. So what we want to see is some form of a heartbeat. Remember this, this must look like a heartbeat. So it literally drops down, it comes back really quickly, and this all happens in a few days, not weeks, a few days. So it drops, it gives you a chance to buy it, but a very slim window of opportunity. It then goes up, it drops, goes sideways, and then we have the $1,000 breakout. So the only change today that I'm giving you is that I believe that we have a speed up of time. It's a contraction of time. And again, guys, remember in the beginning of the year, I said that we are going to hit the all-time high for Bitcoin in the latter part of January of 2020. I then came and said that, no, wait a second, I see that now happening in October. And I was really amazed to say to myself, how can we hit the all-time high of $20,000 Bitcoin in October? Now I'm coming to you and saying to you, there's a big probability that we even could hit it in September. Somewhere here in September, before we even hit into October. And this, guys, is a typical play of a contraction of time. No more expansion of time. Let me show you an expansion of time just for those people that are new. Most of you actually know this by now. But I actually have to go to Bitcoin. See here, guys, when we were here at AA and BB, at that point here, Bitcoin was actually supposed to break out a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. So in effect, what we were saying is that Bitcoin should do this, and come here, it should actually break out, come here lower, and then go like this. And eventually it would follow that pattern and attach to that play there. But at this point here, we had the American shutdown. And what happened is that external factor pushed Bitcoin down and down. And you guys can remember how demoralized everybody got, because we thought this was the breakout. Bang, now we're going to go and just go to all-time highs. And for about 40 days, the market went downwards up till it broke out here. Well, 53 days more or less. And then it broke out, it broke that cycle and went upwards. But this play here, let me just mark that so we can see that. Where is that now? So that play here is what we called a expansion of time. Time expanded. Now what we have here is a contraction of time. This literally that you see here, remember I said that I believe that we could go till about this time here, about September, but now I'm saying that it could happen a lot earlier. The same with Litecoin. Remember Litecoin? That break could actually happen long before 19 September. That break could even happen maybe here, somewhere in August, where we have this heartbeat and then we have the breakout. Nonetheless, guys, I do believe that we're still on track here, no changes. Regardless drop, don't get too concerned about this drop. One of the things that I am looking at here with this drop is if you go, let me just quickly show you this. It's still in a parallel channel. If you were to form that parallel channel there and you pull that down, you can see that it's still in a perfect parallel channel, which is really remarkable actually to see. Let me just see if I can change that color there. Okay, I'm just showing you this. I know it's a little bit confusing on the screen, but just bear with me as we look at this. You can see here that we went right to that top there. It touched almost that top there. You can probably move that up a little bit slightly there. And here on the bottom, touching there, and then this is where it got stopped. So the Python y-axis created a lot of support here. Our next move now is upwards. And I believe that it's going to go upwards sideways and come here maybe 18, 19 July is that we are going to see the breakout. And where does that date come from? Remember that date comes from this year, the 53-day algorithm cycle, which now ends on 18 July. If you take that same algorithm cycle date here, 19 July, the next day, then that is a date where something significant is about to happen. Could it be that we break out upwards into this level here, then come down sideways and then move up? It could as well be, very well be, that that is going to be the play. Let's quickly get into Ethereum here as well. Ethereum, I'm still expecting a upwards move here in Ethereum into these levels of 418, 469, or even as high as 511. So last week we showed you this blue line here, and we said that blue line there is the support for Ethereum. We do not want Ethereum to break below that line. And coming forward, when we have this uptrend, the downtrend, you know, the green and the red, green, red, when we come forward, the market is going to go downwards. So you can see here that we head into about 260, 250 Ethereum. And we say that we could go as low as 236 Ethereum. That play is still in play. But could it be that this 18 September line perhaps could move forward year round about to August? Keep that in mind. There is still a probability for that. All it means is that this 1,000% gain, that jump, it's just going to happen a lot earlier. So instead of this now happening here the week of 18 September round about there, we just pull that forward. And again, guys, we can move these things closer to each other, but then it gets so compacted that we can't see what's happening. And this is the only reason why we have that expanded. And if it contracts, it will look something like this. It will just be a little bit shorter. So the time frames are moving on. Now, somebody in a previous webinar, the guy was really unhappy and he said, yeah, but you keep on saying that Bitcoin is going to go up and then Bitcoin is going to go down. And now you expand the time. Now you contract the time. Look, guys, I'm just presenting what we see in our data. This market changes so quick. It's impossible really on a weekly basis to tell you exactly what is going to happen from week to week to week. I can tell you more accurate on a monthly basis where the trend is. And remember this, guys, our business name is Bitcoin Trend and Forecast. We provide the trend. We never provide these things here where we say trade by day or trade by percentage. You know, what I say is the trend is now up. The trend is still up because we have to break this Python y-axis. Then the trend is going to be down. But uh, remember what I also said, I'm going to provide this as a cheat sheet. And don't put my head on a block if it doesn't play out like that. People forget that very quickly, where I said, don't put my head on a block if these things don't play out. You know, many things can change. Although you can see here that we've been stopped by a 3B algo. Go and have a look at last week's video. We said that if it drops down, it will be stopped there. And we still see an uptrend happening. So that green box here could still happen. It's just a matter of time before we have that 51 or 52% uptrend. Could it be that it happens here at about 18 or 19 July that we have a spike? Is remember our algorithm data always shown there's a spike, especially if you look at Bitcoin Cash, for example. Let's look into Bitcoin Cash. Remember this, this is our algorithm spike line. We've always said that in the last 2 days, that 1, 2, you get a big violent spike. Now, if it spikes here from the bottom here where it is now, it will be a stronger spike. But take that from that level there, and you're going to see that we still hit a target of 830. Our targets there have not changed. They're still exactly the same. Now, let's have a look here at Bitcoin Cash. Last week, we said that we are looking for this play. Okay, could it be, and I'm just throwing this out there, remember this, do your research as well. Use our data to make informed decisions. But could it be that we spike upwards here into this level here, we spike, 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 and then that it comes down, and instead of going too long, it does this to about there, drop into this box here, and then move upwards. Can you guys see now what I mean with a contraction of time? Instead of breaking out here, we just have it breaking out there, which is a little bit earlier. Keep that as a probability. I tell you guys now, I see a speed up in Bitcoin, a speed up, which is uncanny to see. You never ever see that. I've barely seen that in cryptos, but we do see a speed up in time, and be aware of that. All it means, guys, it's not negative for any of us. It just means you're going to make money faster. That's all it is.
Hey, it's Bill, Marius, really quick. So just generally speaking, top 5 cap coins, you're seeing basically the same speed up for all 5 top cap coins that we track.
Correct, Bill. Yes, exactly correct.
Okay.
I
So
see
nothing has changed as far as the patterns go. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed are the days have all been moved up.
Correct, Bill. Yeah, and I'm saying to all of us here now, let's keep that as a probability. I will make videos or reports that will come out, and I will do that on a continual basis just to update everybody. But you are definitely correct, Bill. The patterns are just moving forward. It's kind of like we are getting condensed into a play that will ultimately take us to 22K a lot faster.
Well, and ultimately, if the coins are to go up, if Bitcoin is to hit, let's say, 80 grand by the end of the year, and we know the market's manipulated, and we know these guys don't want to pay, they want to pay as little money as possible for these coins, they've got to get busy, because there's a lot of money still yet to enter this market before we take off.
Exactly, Bill. Because look at this now, you know, let's say Bitcoin Cash. I believe that Bitcoin Cash is on the bottom. I don't see that going lower than this red stripe line. We could come back and test it again, you know, where we go up now, touch that, come back, go sideways and drop again, and come back to the 312 or 325 again. But I don't see it going lower. So those big banks and financial institutions that want to come in, they are either going to miss the boat, like they did in 2017. Miss the boat completely, and And then we get 1 billion people coming on board. And those people like us, we drive the market and the banks come in late again. Look, you have to understand that this smackdown that you see there is nowhere to be found in any chart that I am doing. You can go and research everywhere that you want. You will not find that drop, that 2-day drop, you will not find it there. However, if you now go and look, Bill, and you have a look at Coinbase, those wallets that we follow, those wallets started selling their Bitcoin again, 5 Bitcoin every like 30 seconds. And if Roger is actually online, yeah, Roger, you do a lot of that research, and thanks for all the stuff you send me. It's crazy if you look at that and you see how they sell 5 Bitcoin every 30 seconds, and they try to push the market down. They literally now went and did it with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. And guess what happened? They couldn't drop the market. It's like I said last week, it's going to go and stop here at that red spotted line. You know, that 3B algo, as a matter of fact, in Bitcoin Cash, really, you look at this one here, which is the 2B algo, actually stopped it from going further. They managed to drop it further, but then they started selling and it didn't have an effect anymore. Because when they sell, people like us, bang, they wrap Bitcoin up. You know, when Bitcoin Cash dropped here, man, I was buying like crazy. My orders just got in. You know, 20 year, 30 year, 100 year, 20, another 50. I was just executing orders like crazy here at our office. And we were buying Bitcoin Cash like it was going out of fashion. It was like a kid in the candy store. I didn't know what to buy. I had to decide between Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum. Crazy stuff, you know. I love it when they smack it down. Ethereum, I was hoping it would go a little bit lower, but it didn't. It got stopped by the blue line that we spoke about last week, the 3B algorithm. Now look at Litecoin. Litecoin also got stopped by this one here, the Python y-axis. Litecoin for me was a fantastic buy. You know, I thought I was smart buying Litecoin at $99. And I executed orders, guys, like you will not believe. Like crazy. This market
Hey,
is
Mark.
going to go back upwards. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, this is Arnie. I had a question, just looking at those charts that you presented just before this one. Could it possibly be that the contraction of time has moved up so much that this could actually be the bottom now and it's taken off from here?
Yes, exactly. That could be. I believe it's a little bit too close for that, Arnie. But yes, Arnie is seeing what I'm seeing. To go and see it very clearly, let's go here to this one here of Bitcoin Cash. Now,
Yeah, that's
see, Arnie, it's good that you spot that. And this is what I want you guys to understand, that we are somewhere in a expansion, or sorry, a contraction of time that could blow out completely. Have a look at this blue box here. See that blue box where it goes up, sideways, and then a bit of a drop? Okay? Have a look at this, guys. Let me put a blue box in there, and you will probably see what I see here, and you'll see what Arnie sees as well. Bang, look at that. Could it be that that play is now that play there, where it's actually dropped into this box here, into a lower box, and that we're now going to head upwards? So basically what Arnie is saying here, and this is something that I just wanted to get into as well and just explain to you guys that this is a probability as well. So look at that now, you know, that we have gone like this, sideways, we've had a drop here, bang, and now that we follow that pattern upwards here. That could also happen. And that pattern, guys, is the same pattern. Let me just get here to my cross. It's the same pattern that Arnie is actually seeing there. Can you see there? Just on a smaller scale. That is a probability as well. So keep that in mind. However, Arnie, what I still see that here, I just want to take this date out there. I see here at
Marius?
19 July that we potentially could go upwards into this level and then have a drop. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of astro people are speculating that there's negativity between mid-July to mid-October, and then cryptos will take off. Do you agree, disagree, or because?
Yeah, I definitely agree. That is so. If we want to call it negativity, you can literally see here that we say, in July and August is a bit of a down month. But remember, what I'm saying here now is that we could have a contraction of time, and that this could happen very quickly between July and maybe mid-August before we then break out. So this is with regard to Bitcoin Cash. One thing, guys, have a look at what I'm showing you here now. Let's go back to January, the beginning of this year. Remember when we had a look at a Bitcoin chart? You would literally then go and have a look at a Litecoin chart, and Litecoin will be the same. Ethereum will be the same. Bitcoin Cash will be the same. Look at what is happening now. None of these charts are the same anymore. So it's becoming a complicated way to show people what will happen. We literally have to do Bitcoin on its own. We now have to do Litecoin on its own. You have to do Bitcoin Cash on its own, Ethereum on its own. Can you see the mess up in cryptocurrencies? And I don't want you to tell me that we as the analysts are confused. It's not the case. We are not confused. It's because of the divergence, what is happening in the cryptocurrency world. And remember, we spoke about this. We said there's going to be a day that Litecoin will break free from Bitcoin, and all charts will become like the world stock markets. They will run on their own accord. They will go in the same direction, but they won't spike at the same time. They won't have the same patterns anymore. So most of those people that are now doing charting, and I see most of these things, they just don't get it right. It's because of all these coins now breaking free from each other. And guys, it's going to get a lot more complicated. This is one of the reasons why I said, if you have a portfolio, narrow your portfolio down to 5, 6, or 7 coins. Study those coins, follow those coins. And those coins, I will mention that again, guys. The top coins are Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, ABC, Digibyte, XRP. You can also follow BNB. Those coins are the coins that you need to have, and we'll quickly get into these things here. Now, Arnie, just to get back to your question here quickly, you'll find this interesting. Let's have a look quickly at XRP. Remember here, guys, that we said that XRP is going to come to this point here around about 7th September, and see that drop here? See that drop exactly where my mouse is now? Let me just move all these things down a little bit. See that drop there? Have a look at what happened here. Could it be that we are so contracted in time that everything has just moved on? Look at that. That spike.
Well, Mars, that's an extreme contraction is what we're looking at then.
Yeah, exactly. And that spike could have been that, just a little bit lower. But nonetheless, I'm still going to leave that spike there. Yeah, Bill, I'm just saying, we need to take these things into account. So the only reason now, what I'm saying is, if you hold the XRP, don't sell it. Don't sell it. As a matter of fact, accumulate on that level. Now, it could also be, Bill, that this could be perhaps, let's just pull that line down a little bit and touch that bottom there, which could also be that is a probability, and that this is just going to play out maybe a little bit earlier, that we still see some movement here, and then perhaps a lower, see that we have a lower XRP. So now it's very easy. This thing is becoming, the picture is becoming so clear for us here. If we go up here and XRP goes up there and we have another drop which is lower than this one, that will be our sign. We are coming to the 1000% breakout. One thing that I am certain about, Bill, is that there is a 1000% breakout, and it's very, very close. It's lurking around the corner. This is why I barely sell any cryptos, because I don't want to miss out. I accumulate. Anything lower, I buy. Anything lower, I buy, because it's worth it to take the chance. I don't want to sit out in the market. Guys, I'm just going to mute everybody there again. Let's quickly go back to Ethereum. So Ethereum, in essence, like I said, we do see an uptrend here. Could it be that we spike up here 19 and hit that level and then start dropping? And if we do, this will just happen very fast. The green red will happen very, very fast. The pattern is this, guys. We must see a lower low forming. I want to see the 236, and I also want to see this breakout. I want to see that breakout. That is what I really want to see, and then a drop into this box here, around about there.
Marius, Bob here. What is driving the money back into the major altcoins as Bitcoin has been at 69 to 70% dominance right now?
Yeah, very interesting, guys. When Bitcoin reaches about, and remember I said that in previous webinars as well, when Bitcoin reaches about 68 or 69% dominance, that's it. That's the top. It will barely go to 70%. It's never ever done it in the history of Bitcoin. It might touch 70 or 71, but the point is we are right now at that high point where Bitcoin now is going to stop moving upwards. People are now going to start taking their money out and move it into cryptocurrencies. Look, there will still be people buying Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will still go up. But you are going to see when this 1,000% increase happens, is that this will then start outperforming Bitcoin. And this is what I said, guys, expect one more thing. It's called depression. People think they're going to make a lot of money because there's going to be false breakouts, and people are going to buy these spikes. Whether it's going to be this week, the 19th, that spike there, which I assume could happen, but people are going to buy into this spike just to be disappointed. I believe that we really are going to get up to 15 or 16,000 Bitcoin, and then we're going to start dropping. Now remember this, altcoins drop, Bitcoin drop. Now, Bob, I think it's you that asked the question, what drives it? Okay, let me tell you what I am seeing worldwide. Now, I'm not saying this to brag, just hear me right. I'm just saying you this because I think we've got an audience all over the world, and I can see exactly what's happening. We've got the largest subscription base in the entire world in cryptocurrencies, by far. We have got Africa. We're the largest in Africa by far. There's not even anybody that come close. America, we're big in America. You look at now Taiwan, China, Korea. Now, what you guys don't see is that we have different platforms. And one of the reasons we did it, like for example, in Russia, I've got a Russian website because my website, mariuslampton.com, they block you and you can't get in. So I have to develop a website in Russia in their language, and then Russia and Korea can get on that. We have to do the webinars in their language where it just gets translated. We do the same in Taiwan. We do the same in China. We do African webinars like what we did last week. My business partner, Ijoki Inakaraya, I mean, this is a very great guy in Nigeria. He's going to run for president of Nigeria. This is the kind of people that we work with. Now, let me tell you what I see. I see worldwide adoption like crazy. You have not seen it yet. In Nigeria and what's the country next to Nigeria? Ghana. Is it Ghana?
It's Ghana.
Ghana. You know, Ghana opened Bill. They opened to Binance. Binance went there. They created 1 million accounts. It was the week, Bill, I think. You know, it's crazy, guys, what's happening there. And for most people that are in America, like this webinar is more America, Australia. You guys in America, you don't see it because the news doesn't show it to you. They even block the internet so you don't see the data. It's crazy. I don't know why they block Americans from seeing this. If you see what is happening in Taiwan, Bob, man, this is unbelievable. I did a presentation. I've done a whole bunch of presentations now to Taiwan, you know, where I sit basically in front of my computer like we do now, and we show them what's happening in the crypto world, where Bitcoin is going to go, Litecoin, all that. Man, those guys are so appreciative. You know, they're the best and loveliest people in the world. So we show them this. I tell you guys, when I come on the screen there, any one of us, if you come up on the screen there, the Taiwanese and the Chinese and Koreans, they love Americans. They love the world. You know, they love people. When I come up on that screen, they jump out of their chairs. They jump out, and you're like a celebrity. And you know, the emails afterwards that I get is unbelievable. One of our top leaders there, his name is Sean. He's a lawyer, a very rich guy. He's been a multi-millionaire at the age of 20. And he's now in cryptos, and he's furthering cryptos in Taiwan. Great people there. And they're very appreciative. If you look at the worldwide adoption there, Bob, in Taiwan, I wish I could show you guys the amount of people that subscribe and just get onto cryptos, create new accounts, in Taiwan, in China, and in Korea. Now, I know I get a lot of heat on Twitter when I post that out, and people say, oh, they don't see it. I'm lying about it. And, oh, this is all BS. Guys, this is not BS. This is happening. Twitter stops all those tweets. Have a look and see for yourself how many tweets have been deleted off my Twitter account. It's not me deleting them. It's Twitter. I go and I want to read my own tweets and I click on it and then it says the tweet is not available anymore. I go and say, where the heck is this tweet? Bang, delete it. I make videos and put it on Twitter. Just 20 hours is there. People like it, bang, the video is gone. I've been silenced by Twitter like you will not believe because I bring out what's happening all around the world. But I'm telling you guys this now on these live webinars. It's a major increase of money that's coming into the crypto world. I'm starting to believe that the people around the world have got so much money that when they get into cryptos, it's going to blow cryptos up, not necessarily the financial industry. Why? Because there's too much regulation for them. You know, it's crazy. A guy told me in this week, he said to me, Marius, I would like to invest in cryptos, but here in Australia, the Securities and Exchange Commission is making it difficult for us. The regulations are not 100% set in place yet. The longer they take with those regulations, the financial institutions can only invest small amounts of money. They can't, for example, in Australia, take an entire super fund of 50 billion and put it in cryptos. It is going to happen. But Bob, what we see now, what's driving the market, are people like you and me.
Marius, it's Don. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
It took us a while last week, but I think we eventually got to a play that everybody seemed quite comfortable with, which was selling on the spike within Litecoin, moving over to Bitcoin, and then that gave us the opportunity to come back into either Litecoin or Ethereum before we hit the big spike. Mm-hmm. I just wondered with the contraction in time whether that was still at all possible.
Yes, a contraction in time, Don, can make things a little bit difficult. Now, remember what I said last week. I said the only play that I'm going to do is I'm going to play Ethereum because I can't focus on 2 or 3 things. I only want to do one thing. And with Ethereum, it's very difficult to catch these drops. But I did manage to sell a bit of Ethereum and buy it back here on the low. So I'm just playing Ethereum. Now, with Litecoin, there's Ethereum, and yeah, bought it back basically on that low there at that point there after blue. Now with Litecoin specifically, what I said with Litecoin is that when Litecoin hits that top, if we do manage to hit that top there, Don, my play with Litecoin is very simple. I'm going to get out of Litecoin.
I think that's what we agreed last week. I think, Marius.
Yeah, and I'm still with that.
Back in the bottom, but in that intervening period, I think we had the opportunity of riding Bitcoin up to 22K. I'm just asking the question whether the contraction in time is not going to make that possible now.
No, it could still make it possible. So let's say for me specifically, now remember, this is what I'm going to do. If Litecoin hits a top level there, if it does that, I'm going to sell all my Litecoin. I'm going to park the cash. I'm not even going to put it in Bitcoin for the time being. I'm just going to park it. Because what I'm waiting for this little low point here of about 90. That could even go down to $70, maybe a little bit lower, you know. Wherever that low is, it must be lower than that point there. Let me just mute everybody there quickly. Okay. So if we're down here at that point, I will take that money and buy back and then ride the wave up. Because remember, being out of the market, you make money as well, because come here at the bottom, I'm going to have more Litecoin. Now with Ethereum, for example, what I do with Ethereum, as soon as we hit a top here, I'm going to sell. When it goes down to the bottom here, I buy back again, and I just play it up and down. Now remember, this may be quicker and faster. You may find that, now this is actually really interesting. Have a look at this carefully, guys. I'm going to take these 2 blocks out. It's like playing a puzzle game. In a contraction of time, this is what happens. You get certain elements that are pulled out. Now what happens is that simply just moves on. Okay, this moves on. You still get the same percentages, but everything just speeds up and moves on. So for that person who asked that call, yes, we follow the same play. It may just be quicker and faster. So
Hey,
to
Mario.
reiterate, all we still see upside coming. And we hope this is before 18 or 19 July or on that date. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Marius. We know Litecoin led the way on this one down. It started this whole bull market in February, blasting off while Bitcoin waited till April. So if Litecoin's leading the way still, and we've hit the Python Y axis, worst case scenario, Bitcoin still slightly moves down. What do you see it bottoming on right now if we don't spike up?
You mean Bitcoin or Litecoin?
Bitcoin. We know Litecoin stopped on the Python Y axis this morning, and Litecoin has been leading the way time wise. So if we're contracting, what's the worst case scenario you see contraction in time? Where does Bitcoin drop to? The Python Y axis stopped Litecoin, but what is stopping Bitcoin? What do you see that?
Cool. Let's have a look at that. What Todd is saying here, guys, is that this Python Y axis stopped Litecoin from going further downwards. Now, keep an eye on that. What I want you to do is to pay attention to what I'm going to show you here now. See this little breakout here. There. I'm going to show you where this happened on Bitcoin. And then have a look and see how Litecoin did. Litecoin went up to a high point and then it dropped, touching that. I'm going to show you where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin didn't touch the Python Y-axis, but at this point here, Bitcoin went upwards. This drop here that you see, the 2-day drop, is nowhere to be found on any chart, in any pattern. That is manipulation, pure and simple, to drop it as low as this. They tried to drop it further, but they couldn't. The market is buying it back. Now let's go to Bitcoin and identify where Bitcoin most likely is going to go. Now for that purposes, let me just clean this screen up a little bit. Okay. Now I'm first going to go back here. Remember I showed you now Litecoin. Litecoin broke through at that point there. Okay, that's where it broke through. We identify that point there. Let's go back to Litecoin. Can you see here? It broke through there, went up and followed that pattern, and then it came down. Now let's go back to Bitcoin again. So there we go. Litecoin up, down, Litecoin up, down, high point. Same what happened with Litecoin and Litecoin there. And then it came down, and look at this, guys. Almost touching that Python Y-axis. This is now Bitcoin. Now look what happened here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. 7 days sideways. What happened then? Bang, it broke out. Now have a look at this. If this is 11 July, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, what happens there? 19 July. Look what happened. A breakout. And it breakout, bang. Now let's go back to Litecoin. Okay, there's 1 day, there's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Bang. Could it be that Litecoin and all the other cryptos are going to have that big move upwards into this box? Now, 7-day sideways movement. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin as well. And I'm going to get to the price there, Todd, of Bitcoin. See there, a bit of sideways action, and then we have a breakout. Now, I believe that is going to happen. We're still going to head up in cryptos, and then we're going to have a bit of a drop there. So Litecoin necessarily is not really ahead of Bitcoin. Sorry, Wendy? AJ, just ask you a question quickly there. You've got your hand up, or... Okay, guys, I'm just going to get on. Okay, now what we see...
Sorry.
Okay.
Marius, this is AJ.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is like if doesn't hit, I mean, for Bitcoin Cash, my question is like if it doesn't go 830 target by 19th of July, then what action needs to be taken?
Okay, at that point, don't worry about that yet because it's a week ahead. Let's get through this week and see what happens. And at that point there, Nate, we will actually we'll work with what data we have at that time. But for the time being, remember, I said that on the 19th, something happens. Either Bitcoin drops or Bitcoin goes up because that is the end of the 53-day algorithm cycle. I do believe that we could have a spike upwards, but if we have a downtrend at that point, I'm not going to be worried about it. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to buy back. Guys, you have to remember that Bitcoin is in so much indecision. Is it going to break up? Is it going to break down? Ultimately, I can tell you what I see in my data. We're going to hit $22,000. So as long as you keep your eye on the $22,000 mark, it doesn't matter if Bitcoin drops 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000. It's going to go up. None of us here, none of us can time it so correctly that we can get out on, let's say, 13,000 Bitcoin, and we know that Bitcoin is going to drop to 11,000 and then buy back. Nobody can do it simply because there's manipulation at play. It's like I said, most of you guys were subscribers last year and the year before. We could, with accuracy, tell you that the market will go down on the hour or go up on the hour. We just can't do it anymore. As a matter of fact, our dates are a little bit out now. Our date, we give a date range now. We say the market is going to go up. If I say now the 18th, Nate, just on that question of yours, I'm saying that is the date of the start of the uptrend. But we don't know where it stops unless it starts. Because when it starts, we know it must run a certain amount of days. Like there's a 7-day cycle and there's a 9-day cycle and then a 12-day cycle. So we just need to identify what cycle we are in. So let's have a look here at Bitcoin quickly just to get the low price of Bitcoin. And this is what I see with Bitcoin. Remember I made this video, the latest video that's on the blog post, and I drew this red line here and I said we're going to come to a point here, then we're going to have a drop. That drop is the drop that these manipulators used to drop all cryptos. I say it again, you can't find it anywhere in any algorithm pattern that these cryptos were supposed to drop this far. As a matter of fact, they should have gone upwards because we should have had a 1-day drop and then back upwards into this level here. Could it be that this is how it sometimes works? Instead of going up and up and up, is that we may have a sideways action and come here at 18, 19 July that we then spike upwards. I really believe, guys, and from the data that I have, is that we must hit $15,000. It just must happen. This level here, 13,000, is too low. Mathematically, that's missing about, we call it a 13.25 factor. It's a missing component. If we don't head into this level, there's going to be a complete different play going on here again, and I'll have to identify a new pattern play, which will just be, it's a complete new pattern with different patterns that are built into the 17 patterns that we use. But for the time being, I still expect that we're going to have this play for the simple reason here. Look at this, that red line that we drew last week, it just stopped there, completely just stopped there. What we must have, I don't know, Bill, if I explained that last week, but remember, I think I did. We were talking about this drop here. See that point there? Mathematically, Bitcoin must come back and have the same drop here. See these two red lines here? So that is where Bitcoin still must go in. So I expect Bitcoin to go up. It's going to come down. It's going to go, let me just draw that again. It's going to go up here, a bit of a sideways move, and it's going to come back and retest this blue line here before it then goes up. And whether it's going to touch, just on your question here, I think it's Todd who asked that. See this Python y-axis here? Let me just make that screen a little bit bigger there. if you take this Python y-axis and you take that on, it's going upwards slightly, and that drop could perhaps stop there, somewhere there. That Python y-axis is not drawn really well, but you know, it could do something like this, where it just goes up like this. And that, wherever that touches, that could be the low. And that low there, at this time being, is about 7.6, or it can be as high as this one here of about 8.1. I like to think about this one here at the low level. So just on your question, how low can Bitcoin go? We see Bitcoin going as low as that level there, maybe 8. But don't be surprised if we come here, guys, and this thing only reaches about $10,000. 10,000 is the other level. You see that point there, that support there. It can come back and stop you and just go up, but that's too far ahead. You know, what I realize now in Bitcoin, there's so many things happening every 24 hours that we're gonna literally have to give you guys updates on a daily basis or every 36 hours. There's a lot of changes here. It's unbelievable, and it's going to get a lot more quicker and faster. I hope that answers the question there. For the time
Marius.
being, let's just have a look and see if we can get into this box A and hit that 15,000. When we
Marius.
hit that, yes, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one, please. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. As we're on the topic of Bitcoin, I've got a question with regards to Bitcoin and how it relates to literally the other altcoins, where literally the time frame in between now and the 18th and the 19th is not literally a big time frame. Now, if Bitcoin has to rise, if Bitcoin rises, literally it drags liquidity away from the altcoins, which literally causes that their prices to drop. If Bitcoin drops, alts seem to drop as well. Now, in this small time frame of the 18th to 19th, Bitcoin has to rise to hit that box, the A plus. That essentially takes away, obviously, with Litecoin is literally at the Python y-axis or the 50-day moving average from what I've seen literally on literally my technical chart. If literally more pressure is put on literally these altcoins, what's to stop them falling lower? And then when literally Bitcoin reaches its peak and it starts to fall, what's to literally say that they just don't even that it doesn't put more pressure on the alts as well, and we don't get a rally?
That is a probability as well. You know, it definitely is. But what we are seeing at this moment is that when Bitcoin rises now, is that all altcoins will rise as well. However, I think what you are referring to now is, have a look at this days, guys, here from 6 July, 6, 7, 8, 9. See how Bitcoin rose there, and I think that was about a 20% rise. What he is referring to, what Nate is referring to, is that in that time frame, altcoins didn't rise. Nothing rose. They stood still, or they lost. Did you notice that, Nate? Or
Yeah, what I've noticed is just that literally the alts have just been getting absolutely massacred. Bitcoin rises and all attention just goes to it. It sucks liquidity completely out of the market. As you said, literally the Bitcoin dominance goes up, Bitcoin rises, and then literally adversely, when it falls, it literally, any little gain that the altcoins do make while Bitcoin's rising just causes the rally to stop for the alts, and the alts just give up literally all of their gains as well.
Exactly.
And Mark,
Now, yes, go ahead.
have you guys noticed the volume on Tether when Nate's talking about liquidity being sucked out? I mean, Tether yesterday in 24 hours had 56 billion. And today it's already at 49, I think, at the moment. So there's more going on than just Bitcoin,
Exactly.
in my humble opinion.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of rumors going on, a lot of work behind the scenes. And I tell you now, guys, that I believe that there are powers that be that want to destroy cryptos and they can't get it done. That is period. This is what I'm seeing here in this marketplace now, because cryptos is about to explode. I tell you guys this now, I see it. It's going to go to $22,000, and then it's going to hit 80,000. My data is so clear on this that I have never been more convinced about it. This is why I'm buying. At every dip, I'm buying as much as I can. And if you haven't got any more money, guys, to buy, don't worry about it. Just hold your cryptos. This is one of the reasons that I'm doing this webinar also today. If you don't know how to farm, don't do it. Just hold your cryptos. Now, remember in the beginning of the year, we said, sorry, I just want, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Boris. I just want to ask quickly along the lines of Bitcoin. So you're saying that the time is expected here to speed up, and 22,000 might be reached by September. After 22,000, you're expecting 80,000, but between that time, we will see a drop of about what 40 to 60%. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, we definitely are going to see a drop. You know, as soon as we get to 20,000, there's not a significant drop, but there is a, I just call it a pause. What we are going to see now for the next 9 months, we won't necessarily, I don't want to call them drops anymore. It's going to be a sideways downwards, just a pause, and then bang, it goes up.
But hang on, but you mentioned, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you said 8,000 or so is where it's expected to be in the box B, right?
80,000.
Did I miss something?
8. Yeah,
so a drop from 15 to 8 is substantial, or even 22 if we get to 22. When are we expecting to see 8,000 in the box B? After 22,000 or before?
No, long before that, Boris.
Way before.
You know,
so,
we're talking
first
of
we
going.
Expect,
yeah, first we expect to go into A plus. First we expect to go into A plus here, and then we're going to have a drop. Once we have this drop, here it clearly says that the new upcycle begins, takes Bitcoin to 22K.
Okay, so from 15,000 or 17 down to 8 approximately. That is substantial.
Worst case
and then
scenario.
After 8, okay, worst case scenario. What's the best case scenario? Down to 10?
10 is most likely where we are going to go. Because remember this, what we said last week is that this MS52, that line there can create support. But if it drops below that, your next support, there's only 2 support levels here, 52, Python Y.
So there's no more B minus?
No, B minus is there, you know, I mean, let me just put it in. I don't know if
not a B minus isn't a support.
Guys, we're not going to draw everything in like a little kindergarten here. You know, if you came here from last week, you knew that we were talking about A, B minus. You know, unless there's new people here, you know. And what I always recommend to new people that come on board, you know, really go back and watch the old videos, you know. So the B minus is still there. There it is. You know, there's a big probability. Remember what we said last week as well? Let me just go and draw that in here. From this point here, we said that we're going to go up here potentially to that 15,000. I really want to see that, the 15,000. Then we come down here, it goes up. We go a bit of sideways here. We have a bit of a downtrend here, and then it goes back up again, and then it loops and drops into this. If you go back to last week's video, that is still the same play before we then break out upwards. And then what we said is, we said that Bitcoin breaks out upwards, but at this point here, the altcoins do this. Remember we said that last week? That the altcoins drop a little bit further before they then rebound, and that is where the 1,000%, you know, that's where all the altcoins, the 5 coins that we follow, where they actually spike upwards. And they will then, now this probably comes back to that question that somebody asked here about the altcoins. I think it was you, Nate. Don't expect the altcoins to outperform Bitcoin anytime soon. I've said that last week as well. We have to wait for this divergence here. When this happens, when these start turning around, let me go to Ethereum, for example, or let's go to Litecoin. When this happens in Litecoin, that turnaround upwards, what is going to happen is that altcoins are going to go up thousands of %. Bitcoin, as a matter of fact, in that small period of time, goes and doubles in price. But these coins go up like to $1,000, and then Litecoin starts lagging behind, and and then Bitcoin will go back. It will go back to its 43% dominance. I hope that makes sense.
So yeah, well, it does. But I'm sorry. Let me just finish my thought. If we are to okay, right now we're positioned in Litecoin and Ethereum, and somebody else might have other coins and Bitcoin. So on this next move up, which we expect to 15 or 17,000, it sounds like we need to get out of everything. Maybe not everything in Bitcoin, but other positions in alts, you need to take profits because you're expecting a big downturn later on. And once that happens, you need to be positioned again in alts. But 1,000%, what do? We just get in and sit with it until we see 1,000%? Or there'll
Exactly.
be a number of ups and downs on the way up. Just buy and hold?
Well, there are two things that we discussed last week. We said there are two things that you can do. You simply buy and hold, and you ride out the wave. The other option is, and I'm going to get into that as we go forward. For example, Boris, we're going to ride XRP up, but at a certain point, we are going to get out of XRP and move all that money into Ethereum, because XRP will come to a point it's going to stagnate and not go further. A lot of people think it will, and they'll keep investing, but we're going to get out and move it into other coins that are going to move faster. And I'm going to create only this between 5 and 10 coins that we're going to invest in and move around with. But one of the options is, this is what we said last week, for those people who don't know how to buy and sell, sometimes people have it on hardware wallets, cold storage, and they don't want to move it back. My advice to you is simply just hold what you have. As a matter of fact, accumulate and keep on buying at these levels. It's so cheap for what is coming. So, but Boris, I know you, myself, a lot of people on this call, we are going to buy and sell. The only goal is to increase the amount of cryptos that you have, farming. Remember, in the beginning of the year, I said that this year is going to be a year of farming. So we farm. The dollar value is going to take care of you on its own. There are going to be substantial crash points, and we will identify those.
Okay, thank you, Marius. I'll go on mute.
So just to reiterate, we see a Bitcoin going up into A. We see it then dropping into B. Let's go into Litecoin. We still see those targets to be hit. Whether it's going to happen here closer to the 18th or 19th at the end of the algorithm cycle, we just need to sit patiently and wait. If it doesn't happen and all these things, let's say, for example, worst case scenario now in Litecoin, if it does this and it stays in this bind here, it's not the end of the world, because at some point here, it's going to do this heartbeat effect and it's going to break out. All it is just patience.
I'd really like to hear if you can give us any like juicy tidbits of your your conference calls with some of your big whale buddies and stuff. Can you share any of that with us?
Yeah, I haven't been this week on much calls in regards to that. There's nothing much more really new that I can share, apart from the fact that the big banks are still accumulating and buying the coins that we discussed earlier, like especially Ethereum, and their goals are still there to run Ethereum up. Whoever is manipulating Bitcoin, I just do not know. But if I have new information, I promise I will share it.
Marius, is it crazy to think that if Ethereum is 10% of Bitcoin and Bitcoin is at 3.7 million at some point, that Ethereum's high can be 370,000?
Ethereum's high point, 370,000.
Like if Ethereum is 10% of Bitcoin in the future and Bitcoin is at 3.7 million, am I thinking outside the box here?
Well, it could be, but remember what we said. We see the high point for Ethereum at 10,000. I think it was 10,000, Bill, that we had. I can't even think about a higher.
Like closer to 15.
Or 15,000, yeah.
It was between 10 to 15.
I'm talking about in years from now when Bitcoin hits its high of 3.7 million.
Yeah, we don't know. I've never done any analysis on that, with regard to Litecoin, Bitcoin, or sorry, Litecoin and other coins. I've only done it on Bitcoin. We can look into that, and closer to the time we probably will. All I know is that the high point for Bitcoin in our data shows 3.7 million. Then it kind of like crashes back to 20,000. It becomes insignificant. It's like literally having $500 in your pocket. Because remember, hyperinflation takes account as well, and this is what pushes the price up of cryptos. Hyperinflation. Gold goes up, silver goes up. Our silver data shows that silver goes to 980, around about there, $980 an ounce. I know it sounds impossible, but this is what our data shows.
Is that next year?
Gold, believe it or not, but gold stops. I know people see these figures of 87,000 for gold. Guys, we don't see it. Silver outperforms gold by far. Gold, there's too much gold in the world. There's an oversupply of gold in the world. Now, how gold will be used in the future in financial systems, I don't know. But we just don't see gold. We still see gold valuable, but not outperforming other asset classes. Silver does and cryptos does. Anyway, we can have another discussion on that as well. Guys, one thing that I quickly want to mention here is this. What's coming next is this. I always like to have a look at the large view picture. And I believe that we are, where's my mouse? Okay. I believe that we are there. Okay. We still have to go up to 15,000. We are going to have a drop here. And then what happens is the drop carries on here. We go up and we have one more drop there. Okay, now look at that little drop there.
Marius, I don't think we're seeing your sheets. We've got the Wall Street. No, we've got the cheat sheet.
We can't see your mouse.
It's on the right. Right at disbelief on the right.
Okay,
he's drawing it in red.
Can you see that?
It's on the left side.
Okay.
Yeah, we got that.
Guys, everyone, he started on the right and he moved to the left side of the picture.
Yeah, I started here and I'm back here. Okay. I just copied this whole segment.
It might have been slow. It's all showing now.
Okay. So we see disbelief there. This is where I believe that we are. We are getting into that high point there, which will be about $15,000. I'm just taking an educated guess now from all the data that I see. I believe that we are there. It's going to start dropping there, go up again, and then we're going to drop into this point here, that point there of disbelief. People are going to say this is a sucker rally, but they haven't said it yet. Remember, we have already come out of depression here. This point here, as a matter of fact, let me just clear up the screen. I'm going to show you something here now. Okay, right here at the bottom, can you see there where my mouse is now? Imagine that being that one there, 15 December 2018. And the market went all the way up and we're right there now. We're about to spike up there. Okay, now I'm going to go to this side of the chart, on the left-hand side of the chart. I'll just copy that over. So 15 December there, 18, we're going to go up here. It's going to do this. And more important, I want to show you this. Okay, so I'm there now. That area is where people are going to call disbelief. This is where people are going to get annoyed, disbelief, sell their cryptos. Now, I've shown you that now, so let's go back to the crypto world, and I'm going to show you. Let me go to Ethereum. Ethereum is probably better to indicate that. Remember that low point that I was talking about? That low point is that low point here. This will be a sucker rally. This is in my opinion now. I may be wrong, but I really hope that we have nailed this and that we are correct. We see this going upwards here, and that could potentially, now remember, that could go to $15,000 Bitcoin. Okay, and then what happens is, once we are there, people are going to start buying that spike here, and then we have this rally coming downwards here. Now again, guys, let me just make it very, very clear here. See that point there, that pink point. Let me bring this up again. That pink point is that point there. Okay, I hope you can understand what I see on this chart here. That low point is that point there. So in effect, if you look at in Ethereum, there is your wedge. And out of that wedge, that is where the 1000% gain comes. 1,000 maybe there, another 1,000 there, 3,000 there. All coins are going to jump different. And we are working on that. We're working to bring you those percentages. XRP, for example, XRP does this. It just goes bang, bang, stops, and it just goes sideways. That's why I said, Boris, you know, when you and I were talking, at that point there, I'm going to get you out of XRP and we're going to get into Ethereum at that point. But XRP goes up so quick, if you blink, you miss it. This is kind of what's coming next. I wish there was a way that I could actually show you guys what we see, but there is nothing really than just messy charts, you know. Bang, it just goes up. Well, that's a messy one, yeah. No, it's so messy, you know. I mean, you try to put so much data into these charts that it actually gets messy. Guys, the long end of the story is this. I believe that we could go sideways for the next 5, 6, 7 days, and then, yeah, at 18, 19 July, we're going to have a breakout. And that could be a breakout into this box A, then we're going to drop. And I believe that all altcoins are going to do that. And I think we just need to stop there and just pay attention for the next 7 days to that play. We want to see if Bitcoin gets into $15,000. Now, the other thing is, don't worry if your cryptos, if your altcoins diminish in value, you're going to make it back so quick. But my advice is don't sell. Don't sell on any drop now. Unless you know what you do, where you sell high, buy low. And remember this, guys, I don't do day trading. We long term. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one question. You just said that we're going to spike up on the 19th that one day. Let's take Ethereum, for example. If you go on the Ethereum chart, does that mean that on that one day, we're going to break through all these strong resistances and go to that, go to the target that you have? I think the first target is about 416. So we will break all those strong resistances in one day?
No. Thanks for asking a question. No, it's not what we say, guys. What we are saying is that the spike date starts happening between 18 and 19. Now, let's go back here quickly at, for example, what happened here. Have a look at this one on my screen here. Okay, on this specific day, look at this one. See, we had one big spike here. And that spike broke through 2 resistance lines. It could be that we have that, and then we go sideways upwards, and it breaks a little bit more resistance, and then it drops. Because look at what happened here with this one specifically. On this date here of 26 May, we broke out upwards. It couldn't break out higher, and it went sideways. It created that doji candle, and it went all the way down to this level here. Could it be that this is almost the same play? So what I'm saying here is, look at those 2 days where we where we came down, and I just counted earlier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and then we had the breakout. Could it be that this one is almost similar, where we have a bit of sideways action here, and then that we have a play like this, where we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days up, and then that we have a quick drop. The drop that we see here, I think it was you asked that question, Parvis. So let's say if we go up, we could go up like this, but the drop that we see is a quick 1 and 2 day drop. It could be something like this. So I'm not saying that on that specific day that the market goes up, not in Bitcoin, but let's quickly have a look at Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash could be different. Bitcoin Cash could easily, and this is what I say, if we try to put any coin into a box and say this coin will be the same as the other one, we just can't do it anymore. Bitcoin Cash, we see Bitcoin Cash literally in 1 or 2 days, bang, break up to that level. But not Litecoin. Litecoin won't do it. EOS won't do it. NEO won't do that. Bitcoin Cash is the only one that I see that in the last 2 days can go up to 830, 694, 830 in that level. Litecoin, I don't see Litecoin doing that. Litecoin will do it staggering upwards.
Marius,
I hope that makes sense.
Marius, what makes you so sure about Bitcoin Cash? Because literally, where Bitcoin Cash is at the moment, I mean, literally, it's being held on by literally the 200-day moving average. I mean, what makes you so sure about the Bitcoin Cash move?
Let's have a look at Bitcoin Cash quickly. Okay, let me show you what happened here with Bitcoin Cash. This is how Bitcoin Cash operates. It's like a thief in the night. Just clear this. And I'm going to clear this as well. As a matter of fact, let's take everything off here. Okay, now look at this now. And I'm just going to mark this with a pattern. Okay, apart from our data that we see, okay, this thing is very, very bullish. What it did there is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, it went up like enormous. Okay, if you look at that play there, and it will not be uncommon for Bitcoin Cash to do it again. Something like that. Now in our data, don't get me wrong, I don't just look at these little patterns, you know, these are fractals. That one is big, that one is smaller, this one is smaller. So this one perhaps could be smaller as well, you know, could be big too. Now, one of the indicators here, if you look at this golden cross here, that nice golden cross there, that means that we've got more upside here, and this is why it got stopped by that pink line there. I believe literally that this thing has got a lot more momentum to go. Now, one of the things that are missing here in Bitcoin Cash is your Python y-axis. Your Python y-axis doesn't show up yet. The Python y-axis is way above here somewhere there. So Bitcoin Cash is normally about 9.75, rounded up 10%. Should be 10% of Bitcoin at this moment. So in real terms, if you look at Bitcoin Cash mathematically now, if you go and work it out, what it should be over the long term, it should be around about there at about $1,300. So you look at that missing spike there, the missing content. So there's a lot of factors here that we look at, and where I say that Bitcoin Cash must have a bit of a jump upwards.
Maurice, this is Jim here. Do you think that Bitcoin Cash could actually go through that 830 mark? Because it's been my experience, when that baby moves, it moves.
Jim, that's exactly it, you know. And listen clearly what Jim says there, you know, when Bitcoin Cash moves, it moves so quick that you can't buy.
Right.
Now, look at this spike here, for example, where Bitcoin Cash just went up like literally in one day. The next day it went up and bang, it was over. Then everybody got in. Everybody bought and bought and bought, and they went all the way down. You literally need to be in Bitcoin Cash there at the moment, because it could just make a wild move while you watch it and just literally go bang upwards. You can already see there's that green candle. I'm not saying that's going to be the spike there, but we could go sideways and then bang. It's just going to do it in 2 days. There's a lot of other technical data that we look at, which also shows that Bitcoin Cash is very much suppressed. It's been going sideways. And remember this again, guys. You saw what I shown you here, this depression, you know, the disbelief rally. I believe that we still have to go upwards there. By the way, guys, this cheat sheet, okay, download this cheat sheet, okay, and have a look at this. What you see here, the hope, optimism, belief, the thrill, and euphoria, it's going to happen again. Many of you guys, many of you guys were here when we called the top there on Bitcoin. We saw this. Now, at that time, I didn't really understand the Wall Street cheat sheet that much. I literally understood it once we got down here to the bottom. And here at about denial, that's when I really started looking at this last year now, or 2018, where I realized, but wait a second, this cheat sheet is playing out like magic. It plays it out in Apple, in Microsoft, in all the coins. Why is it playing out? Because it's a manipulated market. What they're going to do, they're going to run, they're going to run Bitcoin up here to 15,000. People are going to buy in at that level there. They're going to buy and buy. You and I, we will just patiently wait or sell or just hold. We just hold. Because we know what's coming. What's coming here is that drop there. You may want to sell 10, 20, 30, 40% and just hold the rest. And have some cash to come back and increase the amount of cryptos you have. And then once that rally is over, wherever that date is, guys, I tell you now, we're going to go up in those coins that I mentioned, the 5 coins, minimum 1,000%. You're going to see this rally here of hope, going to go sideways upwards. At that point, you don't really even want to sell. There are, remember I said there's going to be 4 drops. And you mentioned earlier, Boris, about these drops. I don't really want to call them drops because I look at them now as a bit of a pullback or a pause. I don't want to call them drops. It's just a pullback where we sell 10, 20, 30, 40% and pull back and buy in the low because we won't be able to identify the exact low because the market is in an uptrend. It's in a huge uptrend. And this uptrend is the uptrend that I want you to take advantage of because this can make you very, very rich. Incredible. And this looks small, but on certain data for certain coins, like for example, Bitcoin Cash, I see Bitcoin Cash at a humongous figure. And this is where the figures come from 10,000 in conjunction. Now remember where the banks are going to prop it up as well. Any questions there, guys?
I got a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Cal. I'm just wondering if we could go to the Litecoin chart for a sec. And I'm wondering the movement from where it is now up into the top box that you have there on the screen.
Okay.
That increase is probably still wise to be in as it relates to Bitcoin. In other words, it's not a bad idea to still maintain a Litecoin position rather than moving it into Bitcoin.
For now, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
and one more thing.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's amazing. I know there are people here that are a little bit older than me. They in their 60s. But I tell you what, guys, when I was about 11 years old and I grew up in this orphanage in South Africa, when somebody turned 50 years old, I looked at them and I went like, man, these people are dinosaurs. Now suddenly I'm 50 and I go like, man, I still feel like 30. Nothing has changed. I've got so much energy. I don't know what the heck it is. And I remember,
I was going to say happy 35th birthday.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I tell you. No, we're all young, you know. I think 50 is the new 30 now, in my opinion.
It's your mind. It's too active. Marius, I got a question. When you were talking about the Bitcoin being sold every 30 seconds, what exchange did you see that on?
Coinbase.
Okay,
I've always
thank
said there's a few wallets, they are associated with Coinbase. The same wallets keep selling Bitcoin at increments. And there's been a big slaughter on cryptocurrencies, trying to attempt to break cryptocurrencies down. And they can't drop it below. You can see they dropped here below the Python y-axis. I was seeing this drop and drop and drop and drop, and I was just buying. Every single time I would get a low order, I would buy and buy and buy and buy, especially here with Litecoin. And now it's starting to push upwards again. Guys, I tell you now, no matter what manipulators do, they will not be able to destroy cryptos. This is the way of the future. End of story. It's going to go up. And, you know, it would be nice if we can identify all these drops, guys, but yes, we just can't. We really do our best. You know, here literally the market should have actually broken upwards. All indicators point it's upwards. Elliott wave, you can do whatever you want. All indicators point upwards. This is a manipulated drop down. Now they stopped. They see they can't do it. It's going to go back upwards. It's trying to stop the growth of cryptos, but it's not going to happen. It can't. It must follow these patterns and it must break out higher.
Hey,
Marius,
Marius,
it's
you know,
Amir here.
on the Telegram channel, you kind of drew in like a little chart here where you were showing Bitcoin's going up and then it's going down. And I actually just followed that drawing, and you had the low point on July 11th. So I was just sitting back, waiting and waiting and waiting, and I was just kind of blown away that on the 11th, where you have that blue mark over there on the 18th, you had the same one on the 11th on the Taiwan Telegram post that you posted on there, like number 93. And if you pay close attention, you just drew it in there. I don't know if you drew it in there on purpose or not, but it was spot on.
Yeah, we did see a drop coming. I think that's the one that you're referring to, you know, that we did see a drop here.
Right.
And that is where we are now. But then we see a move upwards. Now, this is the other thing also. Look at this now. Bitcoin hasn't dropped that much. It's incredible that these cryptos have dropped this much. Look at Litecoin. I mean, yes, like that's a huge drop, but the return back upwards. You can see there's the green candle now. Could be this green candle today could hit that level there, and bang, we up into our high point again. My surprise is that Bitcoin hasn't dropped that much, but I'm happy about that too. That says to me that the chance that we are going to head into this A plus, hit that $15,000 mark, guys. I tell you now, if I shouldn't say guys, I tell you now, because a lot of people are making fun about that. I saw that on Twitter, something hashtag you tell me now. But anyway, guys, let me say this: if we head into $15,000, then the probability of hitting 22 and 80K is a guarantee, because then we're in a mathematical formula that is going to play out. You can't have a mathematical formula that comes to 60% and don't play out, because that will literally be about 60% of the play to 20K or 22K. Then after 22K, we're going to head into 80,000. I'm 100% sure about that. But if I want to see this $15,000. I want to see that. Once I get into that point there, I can probably give a little bit better direction about what happens next. You know, as I said, this drop happens really quick. Parvis, you know, that drop there. Oh, Parvis, and my apologies if you're still online. Yeah, I saw your call yesterday, but I just missed it. My apologies there. But this drop here
No
into,
worries, man. No worries.
okay. I didn't ignore you. Okay, guys, let me just, this is the end of the presentation. I'm just going to stop the recording and upload that, and we can still carry on if there's any